What am I trying to say? Disabilities are not definitions.
You always have to feel good. I mean, why waste your life in sadness when you can enjoy a life of happiness?
People send me messages and they criticize me, say, Pat, you're at the office every day and you're posting videos on Instagram. It's not the responsible thing to do. You got a family. You got this. People follow you. Why would you do something like this? I've missed 3 days of work since they announced the economic shutdown. When I say 3 days of work, I don't mean during the weekday. I mean 3 Sundays of work. One of the Sundays I missed because I spent the entire day with my son, who was sick and tired and not being able to go back to school and being around his family and his peers. He missed it, and I had to have a very serious conversation with them. The other 2 days I just dedicated to my family and friends, and we had a good time at the house. But every other day, including Saturdays and Sundays, I've been at the office every day. Many of you will not agree with this. Let me explain why I'm doing this. Somebody asked this question for me, and they said, Pat, you're being irresponsible. I said, why am I being irresponsible? Because you're going to work every day. I said, that's what I'm doing every day. You don't have to do this. This is what I chose to do this. Yeah, but it's not the responsible thing to do. Don't you see what's going on around the world? I said, you know, I see this in a different way than you do. How do you see this? I said, let me explain to you how I see this. One time a woman and I were talking. This is a very respectful woman, someone you would know. She gets up and she tells me, she says, you know what's the closest thing men will ever experience to the pain of a woman giving birth? I said, what is it? She said, starting a business. I said, what do you mean by that? She says, I've given birth to 2 kids and I've started a company. Giving birth was so painful when I went through it. But running a company was extremely painful and it lasted a few years. I said, so what's your point with this? She says, it's the closest pain I had. The agitation, the running out of money, the trying to keep people, the employees leaving you, customers being taken away from you by the competitors, sleepless nights, arguments with your husband, your wife, trying to keep your face together, your emotions together, trying to be a parent and cook and eat and exercise and, you know, make sure your mom and dad are good and your finances aren't good and you're meeting with the doctor and you're dropping off your kids at school and you're picking them up and you're doing homework and you're trying to be a good parent and you're trying to be a good spouse. All of that. And I'm about to run out of money starting my business. She said, it's the closest thing to having a baby when you have a startup. You see, a lot of people who've never started a business before, they just look at business owners and small business owners and they say, look at these guys, all they care about is money. All they want to do is the rich lifestyle. Starting a business to me is like having a baby, except it's my baby. I have 3 kids, Patrick, Dylan, Senna. I take a bullet for them. But I also have a baby that I started. That's a company. It's a very important thing to me. Why? We put everything into this company. Do you know for who? For Patrick, Dylan, and Senna. This is giving them 3 the life that they have today. For somebody to tell me you can't go to work, I'll pay $1,000 fine every day for me not to go to work. Now, I'm not telling you for you to do this. Let me be irresponsible. You may say that's not the right decision you're making. I'm making my decision. Here's why. We look at a lot of this data with people dying. You know, this many people died, that many people died, this many deaths, this many cases. I get it, believe me. There isn't anybody who loses a loved one that is going to sit there and say, oh, it's just a normal thing to go through. I have empathy, I have compassion for all of them. I am in the insurance industry, and one of the toughest calls I ever liked getting is when the client called me telling me they died and they're sending me a death certificate. And I would get these stories of people that were our agents. I can't stand those calls. Can't stand those calls. I've had to make many of those calls. I can't stand them. I don't like them. And we have a decent sized agency, which means this has happened many, many times with our agents. I don't like to see the mother's face or the father's face or the husband's face and they're looking at me like, you know, I don't want that experience, but it's part of life. There was a book written back in 1982 by Barry Bluestone. I think the book is called Corporate Flight. And it gives us data with the cause of unemployment to the number of deaths, people dying, death. And he says per 1% of unemployment, 37,000 people die. What do you mean? When unemployment goes higher, 1%, 2%, 3%, cause of it is 37,000 people dying. Why? Well, suicide, stress, heart attack, not paying bills, stressed out, arguing with your wife, arguing with your kids, feeling guilty, a man not making money is not a good thing. Man wants to produce and make money. He feels better about himself. He stops having these negative thoughts because he's being useful. His life is worthy. There's a reason to want to live because you're part of a team, you're part of a company, you're creating something special. There's some significant about your life. You are contributing to society. And every time unemployment goes higher, it's 37,000. So let's just say unemployment goes up 6%. What's 6% times 37,000? 220,000 people. Coronavirus, you can put the numbers right next to it. It's about the same number. Let's just say gets to that number. Right now it's around 60, 70,000 people. So this whole topic about this virus and this whole topic about everything we're talking about, I am not here to say, let everybody go back to work. Sweden never shut the whole thing down. They just said, we're not going to do places where it's over 50 people. And, you know, here's the options that people have. Certain people staying home. Businesses opened up, restaurants, bars, but not big functions, not big events. And they've gone about their business. Their economy hasn't taken a big hit. 30 million unemployment? 30 million? That doesn't include how many businesses went out of business while all these bigger companies are being bailed out, and the middle America people are getting their tails handed to them. That's okay with? No, I'm not okay with that. So again, I didn't tell you you're going to like my message here today. I don't think you're going to agree with my message here today. But some tells me there's some of you guys out there that are sitting saying, I don't know, Pat, I kind of relate, but I'm scared, man. I'm scared. What do I do? What do I tell my mom? What do I tell my wife? What do I tell my husband? They all disagree with me. I get it. I'm not telling you to do anything.